Moses, Ramesses, you grew up together, close as brothers. Keep each other safe. Always.
You know something's wrong. You've always felt it. Your parents never told you the truth. What truth? The year of your birth, there was a prophecy that our leader would be born to liberate us. That leader is you,
So
Moses.
at some point in the movie, it seems like the plagues are an overkill. Because Ramses suffers a lot.
Yes, that's true. Particularly the last one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it gets very personal by the end of it. And I was just saying before to someone that was one of the most difficult parts of the movie to play for me. But also one of, you know, the death of the firstborn child and how personally that affects Ramses. And what I think Ridley's done very well is that rather than just create a movie where you have a hero and a villain, that the movie tracks from you know, two brothers, having a brotherly relationship and love for each other, to this division of ideas and the battle that ensues. But even amongst that battle, both characters have their virtuous and not so virtuous qualities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even Ramses you can empathize with.
Exactly. Was it difficult to compose a character knowing that he was like a villain?
It is. It always is. I think there's mindfulness that I go into thinking, well, yeah, I want to be the character that we love to hate. At the same time, we have to understand why and where he comes from. And he has a point of view that's very much like a tyrannical leader, a dictator, and it's not the right point of view. For me, I think it's, but it is a point of view that's out there, which is to say that my race is better than your race, and I have a right to dominate you, and I have a right to enslave you, and this is how we created this great empire. So why should you change that for us? And it's hard as an actor. You go, I'm about to adjust my ethical point of view, but it's still fun because you're playing and it's a movie.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Really, his take on Moses' story is interesting because it's based on reality. He doesn't even go full religion or fantasy and tries to be naturalistic in terms of the explanation of things. So that was his speech to you about keep it real. This is not. This is history.
Yeah. There was. You know, it's difficult because I think a Bible story like this, or like Noah, it has these elements where you get real life, and then you hit a line and you go, oh, that's sort of fantasy. How do we explain the parting of a Red Sea? How do we explain a man who could build a boat that will carry two of each animal around the world, you know? Those moments then become questions of how do you base them in reality? Or how do you enjoy the fantasy? And I think there's a good combination of both. There's, particularly with Moses' conversations with God and the way God manifests in the version of Malak, this character, and how that plays out. You could see it in some real terms, and you can also see it in fantastical terms. It's a tricky balance to strike, but I think it's quite beautifully done.
Yeah, it is, and also it's tricky because we don't see, you know, Ramses talking to the Egyptian gods. We see hoping to talk to them,
and the feeling that, and this was a very interesting question. The conversation I had with Ridley is like, these boys, you know, Moses and Ramses, begin feeling like the whole God thing is like, you know, the Egyptian god system, many gods. It's like, but as Ramses becomes Pharaoh, he is treated like a god and starts to believe that he is a god. But does he really? Knowing that he's still really he's still flesh and bone. He still can bleed. I found that very interesting. When it's like actors, you know, we start off life as real people, then everybody hands you the keys to the kingdom, and it's like, do you start to think that you really are that special?
Well, I hope you're not. Hope
You're not really. I mean, even, no matter how much you think you might be, you know, in the back of your mind, you're just like a normal dude, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing.
I am a god! Follow me and you will be free!
We're going to recapture 400,000 slaves.
We're not recapturing anyone.
There's a sea ahead and an army behind! Ready yourselves!